Okay, is everybody ready to learn some massive new information? This is going to be one of those life-changing events. What I thought I'd like to talk to you about today is prescription medications. And the reason I want to talk about the prescription medications is because you're reading about some different prescription medication every day in the newspaper right now. And it's just amazing. So what I'm going to do is I'd like to go over a couple items with you that I think you're going to find very, very interesting. What I have in my hand is a Good Housekeeping magazine. Now what I have in my other hand is these are all the prescription advertisements that are inside of this magazine. What we're going to talk about tonight is prescription medications and what you need to do so you don't have to take them, and some of the bad effects of these drugs. One of them was Lyrica. Now Lyrica is a drug that's used for burning feet. Now what I have found from my experience, one of the leading causes of burning feet is a congested liver. We use a product in our practice called Cataplex B, and we also use choline. It's your liver, because it's poor fat metabolism. That's why all of you, I want you to be taking flax oil every day. Another one was a drug for ADHD. And as you all know, I have a book, Dr. Bob's Guide to Stop ADHD in 18 days. Probably one of the most controversial medications right now is Crestor and Lipitor and Mevacor, which are statin drugs, versus Votorin. Now here's the difference, and you might not know this. Statin drugs work by affecting the physiology inside of your liver. They cause liver disease. That's one of their bad effects. Votorin works by stopping the cholesterol to be absorbed in your intestines. It was recently reported in the Wall Street Journal, the USA Today, even our local newspaper, that they don't feel that Votorin is as effective, don't you just love it, as the statin drugs. But statin drugs will cause liver disease. Now you all know, since you're patients of mine, how can we lower our cholesterol? What do you got to eat? Beets. Dr. Bob's ABCs, apple, beets, and carrots. There's another drug here struggling to fight fog. Provigil. So fog, fog is about Alzheimer's. A lot of times it's a plugged up liver, sometimes not enough iodine. Another one for epilepsy. Then we have another one called Cymbalta for depression. 50 million Americans are depressed. Most people who have depression need iodine. They also need good oil. Here's another one. I just love this. Sally Fields. It just makes me want to throw up. I mean, I just cannot handle that they're using this woman to thoroughly convince everybody that they need to take a prescription medication for osteoporosis. And I'm not saying, you got to use some common sense here. You have to eat right. Protein's important. Exercise is important. Not eating sugar is important. Not drinking soda pop. Soda pop can cause osteoporosis. They don't talk about that. That's one of the reasons they want all these women to get all these osteoporosis tests done, so they can put them on one of these osteoporosis medications, but they don't ever talk about making lifestyle changes. Another one is Tricor for triglycerides. There's another one called Topamax for migraine headaches. A lot of times women will have migraine headaches right at the end of their menstrual cycle from high estrogen. Oftentimes you're going to have headaches because of tension in your neck. Are you Mason? This is just in one magazine. Then we have one for the lungs, Spiriva. Then Plavix for a blood thinner. And we're going to talk about this tonight. What do you need to do to keep your blood flowing freely? Nobody ever talks about inflammation. Another one is on asthma, Advair. Here's another one for high blood pressure called Caduet. It's another medication. And then we have Evista, which is for osteoporosis. So that's out of one magazine. But it gets better than that. What is very fascinating is I had mentioned to you about the Votorin. This is an article that came out of the USA Today. They're talking about Votorin is not as good as the statin drugs. Remember, the statin drugs affect the liver. But don't you think it's quite quaint that where they had all the bad news about the Votorin, that Crestor took out a full-page ad? What a lot of people don't realize, I think, just general people every day, don't really understand that all this medication, now these are recent newspaper articles I've saved just because of the side effect of drugs. Like they took heparin out, and they had issues with Singulair and other asthma type of medications. But this is from the Wall Street Journal. And this was the Tuesday after that report, and it says, Schering and Merck defend their drugs as stocks suffer. I don't think that people realize, the masses of people, you're talking billions of dollars. Not millions, you're talking billions of dollars. In Lipitor alone, last year, they made $12 billion. And we all know that you can lower your cholesterol 40% just by eating beets. So what do medications do? Medications change physiology in your body. They don't get to the cause of the problem. They literally trick your body. I'll give you an example of that. If you're going to be taking, we're going to do the Lipitor. Lipitor itself changes the physiology in your liver. So instead of taking the cholesterol that's used to make sex hormones and pain hormones, they're taking that out of the body. So they're giving you this false impression that your cholesterol is low, but if you understand what's really going on out there, that cholesterol medication is used to take away pain. One of the side effects, now this is the part you have to get, one of the side effects or bad effects of Lipitor and the other statin drugs are pain and muscle and joints in your body. Do you want to know why that is? Because the cholesterol used to make cortisone has been taken out of your body. That was important, what I just said to you. How drugs work is they trick your body. They rob Peter to pay Paul. And another aspect of the cholesterol that they take out of your body is cholesterol is used to make sex hormones. So if a man is taking a beta blocker for a heart issue, if you're taking any type of antidepressant, if you're taking any type of cholesterol-lowering drug that's in this family of drugs, they're going to have challenges getting an erection. So guess what they're going to sell to you? Viagra or Cialis. And I'll never forget this, my teenage son, the first time he saw a Cialis advertisement, so he just got done watching health class, and it said something about having, if you have an erection for more than 4 hours, that's a complication. And here you have this teenage kid watching this, and it's a wonder that we have so many issues in our society today. So medications trick your body. The key for you to understand is they don't get to the cause of the problem. So what's the primary reason that you would go in for a prescription medication? So here's what I'm finding out. Most people are going to go in number one for pain. Now, I'm going to tell you a little secret. When I was out in the Denver area several years ago, we went on one of those Jeep rides. I don't know if any of you have ever been out in the mountains to one of these Jeep rides, but I went on this Jeep ride with this guy who was from Austria. And I think that he must have come from the back Alps because he took us to the edge and had us look down. I think I could have wet my pants. You know, when you look down there, you don't see any telephone lines, and they didn't have cell phones, and there's no towers. You know, we could have died. You can see all these moose way down. But what I learned from him is we were by this one area, and there was these willow trees, and like halfway up the willow trees, the bark was gnawed off. And what happens is during the wintertime, the animals eat the willow bark to get the natural aspirin, the salicylic acid, from the tree bark. So we have a product in our office called Celgesic. If you have a product, if you're watching me on the internet right now, willow bark is a great pain reliever, and guess what? One of the bad effects that it doesn't have. It won't thin your blood. It won't cause the complications of an aspirin. Because I believe taking an aspirin every day is wrong. We also have a product called Celgesic. But I don't want to get into the physiology because we could talk for hours. In my book, Dr. Bob's Guide to Stop ADHD in 18 Days, and in Dr. Bob's Guide to Optimal Health, we talk about fat metabolism. The leading cause of pain in your body is poor fat metabolism, sugar, dairy products, and not enough oil. That's why all of you here tonight should be taking at least 1 tablespoon of flax oil every day. Finally, you might have an infection, or secondly, you might have an infection in your body. Now, you know what the leading cause of an infection is? Sugar. Because sugar paralyzes your immune system. See, 1 white blood cell can eat 14 bacteria in a half an hour. If you drink a can of soda pop, the sugar in that soda pop will cause your white blood cells only to eat 10. And if you have a brownie, which has a lot of sugar in it, that means now your white blood cells can only eat 5 bacteria in a half an hour. And if you have an ice cream with apple pie or ice cream with a banana on a banana split, your white blood cells can only eat 1 bacteria in a half an hour. So most people get infections because of eating sugar. Sugar paralyzes the immune system. And finally, organ dysfunction. One of the most common organs to have dysfunction is the intestines. And one of the items that we use in our practice to help improve intestinal function is iodine. But you all should be eating your fiber every day. It'll make a huge difference for you.